Good morning, friends and family. It is currently 7:38 in the morning. I know that doesn't sound too early, but I just worked a 12-hour shift after Christmas. So I've been up for a solid 24 hours, and it's feeling pretty good. But I just wanted to record this video and share an idea that I've really been thinking about over this past month, specifically, the past week or so around Christmas, and it's this idea of forgiveness. Now, I know in the inspiration and motivation community, they like to talk a lot about passion and, pursuing your dreams and all these very almost esoteric ideas. And I just want to backtrack and talk about something that I don't see a lot of people discussing, which is forgiveness. And I feel like because it's Christmas season, New Year's coming around, this is a very relevant topic. Now, specifically what I'm talking about is forgiving yourself. And one idea I really want to get across is that's what it all comes down to. Forgiveness is all about forgiving yourself. To forgive others, you have to first forgive yourself. Now, I'll go into a little more depth later on, but one quote that I actually wrote last night that's been resonating with me quite a bit is, it's not about forgiving others. It never has been. It's about forgiving yourself for having the audacity to think that anybody owes you anything. Now, at the end of the day, essentially what that quote is trying to do is help the reader or the listener understand that we are the only people that are accountable to ourselves. We are the only sentient beings that have any sort of obligation to us as individuals. Now, taking that to heart, we find that although there is a lot of accountability, it's because of the reality of it, it's very, very plausible. It just takes a little understanding. And along with this, when we discuss this level of accountability where, everything is on our shoulders, one thing that we must also understand in order to really grasp this concept is love. Now, especially around the Christmas season, love is talked about a lot, loving others. But one thing that I'm sure you've probably heard is to love others, you must first love yourself. Now, it's the same concept in forgiveness, right? You can almost create a similitude there. They're very similar, love and forgiveness. So, essentially, I want to get this idea out there that we have to forgive ourselves of, not only of what I mentioned earlier, the assumption that people owe us things unless, we have the right to hold a grudge or anger or any sort of emotion towards them. But also just forgive ourselves for things that we have done and things that we haven't done. A lot of times we think less of ourselves because either we haven't made a certain decision or action that we feel would have pushed us forward, or perhaps, we made a decision that pulled us back. And at the end of the day, I brought up that concept earlier about you have to forgive yourselves before you forgive others. But that concept's just as true as a pretext. Well, it's not necessarily a pretext, I would say justified pretext. For moving forward, you have to first forgive yourself. That's the pretext for success, is understanding that, who you are isn't defined by your past. And I know it sounds really corny, but at the end of the day, if I've learned anything over this past couple of months, these past couple of weeks, these past couple of years, it's that who I was yesterday is not the same as I am today. The man yesterday may not make the same decisions that I'm making today. You go back a year, sure, I told myself that making videos would definitely be a blast, but I didn't actually pursue it. And the reason for that is because I've changed. I'm a different person. And I really want y'all to take that to heart. Not only the idea of change, but the idea that just because we made a decision yesterday doesn't mean we have to make that decision today. Doesn't mean we're accountable to that decision. The only person and thing we're accountable to is ourselves. right? And when we discuss that kind of accountability to self, you have to ask yourself, who I am, or more specifically, what are my values? What are the things that I appreciate most? Specifically, one thing, or I guess a couple things that I appreciate or value most are love, happiness, and passion, or love, gratefulness, and passion. And I actually write that every morning. I'll be making a video on it a little later, but I just make sure that in everything that I do, I remain accountable to those things, and in doing so, it creates a more vivid image of what myself is, right? What exactly it is that I'm accountable for. And essentially, it's just, when we discuss forgiveness, it's so much more intimate than just saying I forgive you. It's the reality of taking an action that contradicts something that we justified in the past, or perhaps an inaction that we justified in the past. So I'd like to challenge you guys to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself not by saying it, but by doing it, by taking those actions and commitments to yourself and for yourself. Whether that be getting into the gym and, instead of looking at it like something that you hate and utterly disgust, look at it as something that you need to do, that you appreciate, because you recognize that value. A lot of times we might regress to that certain point in time, but understand, I'm a different person. I forgave myself for that inaction. I forgave myself for that lack of vision and perception. At the end of the day, that's a vital, not only paradigm shift, but skill, to be able to recognize that you've changed and to be able to implement that change and take action. So just take that challenge with you throughout the rest of the year. I know I'm going to be talking a lot about change, especially over this next couple of weeks, considering it's New Year's. But take this idea of forgiveness and really sink it in. I want to read that quote to y'all one more time, just so y'all can kind of, let it mold over in your mind. It's not about forgiving others. It never has been. It's about forgiving yourself for having the audacity to think that anybody owed you anything. Anyways, guys, I'm excited for everything to come. I'm tired. I'm happy. It's kind of a bit of a contradiction, but I want to thank you for watching. And if you get a chance, I'd really appreciate a like, a follow, subscribe, or comment. I really love comments, guys. It gets me excited. At the end of the day, I'm not making these videos necessarily for money. I'm making these videos because I enjoy inspiring others. I enjoy being able to recognize that what I'm doing has value, not only to myself, but to others. Being able to get people excited about life, about their passions and who they are. I've never really been too outspoken, so this is kind of an interesting little undertaking in making these videos. So once again, appreciate the comments, appreciate the feedback, and until then, make today great, make tomorrow great, make life great, and just remember to be you, be passionate about everything that you pursue, and specifically those things that really pull your heartstrings and get you excited. But until next time. Until you find your way back home.